Well, good evening, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, another episode of our Coffee Club Talk Live. And as I say every time, this is not a prop, folks. This is a real usable utility resource, as Tammie Combs has as well. And she's hanging out with us tonight. Obviously, she is somewhat accepting of others if she's doing that.
Absolutely.
So we're not talking about COVID too much. We're not talking about election cycles, nothing. We're just going to talk about cool stuff. How's that?
I would much prefer to talk about cool stuff than either one of those.
Which I just brought up, so I guess I can't say it was like not part of this conversation.
You're guilty already, yeah.
I went right for it. Jeez, I tell you. Well, we'll make it official in a second, but thanks for hanging out with us tonight. So, so this is an outside coffee club talk. Are you outside? Pool?
I am. I'm on my back porch. I'm enjoying a little lampshade, a little breeze.
Nice.
It's probably going to be 98 tomorrow, so I'm going to milk this for all I can today.
Well, Positively Osceola weather says it's going to be low 80s with 25% chance of rain.
Yeah.
So that's happening. It's like we started doing weather a few years ago, and it's funny. It's the emotion of knowing what the weather guys go for when you say, 10% chance of rain. It's going to be clear out today. Enjoy the beautiful day. And you like drive down 192 and it's like side wind and rain. You go, I blew that one.
You know what? When we first came here, I think one of the biggest things that shocked me is that it could rain on one side of the street, but not on the other. And literally funny. You're sitting outside your window watching no rain across from you. I thought that only in Florida can that happen.
I know. Or when you drive down the highway and you see it coming at your window.
Yes. And then go right past you.
So face it, we could talk for an hour and a half right now and not really approach anything that we plan on talking about. So I better make it official, and then we'll get started. Here we go. Here we go.
I love that so much.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's way cooler than me.
Well,
like a letdown.
Close. It's close.
It's a letdown after that's over. I start talking. It's a total letdown.
Not at all.
Oh, well. It's funny. I like all that latte stuff and all the shaker thing. I'm like black coffee. Put more black in it. Who knows? Just
make it more black.
That's it.
I have a thing about cream, and then I'm good. That's all I need.
I hear you. That's that's the thing. So the reason why you invited you, obviously, is that we love you and we love what you do. But so you recently were named or selected, whichever is most appropriate, the Teacher of the Year at St. Cloud High School, correct?
I was. I don't know how, but yes, I got that.
Well, I think everybody knows how.
Oh, wow.
So, like we were saying before we started going live, what hit me was how cool is that one of the teachers that's in the arts sector. Maybe some people may not think that's what we traditionally see as a recognition point, but I know you and I are not surprised by the importance of that. But
yes,
how cool is that to see that happen? Because I always imagine this huge pool of names and titles, and then the teacher goes, the principal goes, that one, because you guys are all awesome.
Oh, well, thank you for that. There were two of us nominated in this this year, and I think if I counted right, there were like 15 of us total. So to be two of those and then to be selected, I was in a state of shock for a good hour, I think, because it's one thing to be nominated by your peers. That's exciting. It says a lot when you teach in a school where you don't even get to talk to half of them. But then to be arts, it's huge. It's huge because so many people, I don't want to sound too negative, but they don't necessarily validate what we do.
Right.
And a lot of times what we do in our classrooms is why that kid comes to school to begin with. Yeah. And, it's like if that's what gets him in the door and it makes them a good, academic student, then we've done our job. So it's a huge statement, and I'm very humbled, very honored to be selected. And all everyone keeps telling me is get ready for the big packet. You have to fill out this monstrous notebook of things to prove why you're a good teacher. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to feel good because I'm awesome. And then I'm awesome.
Yeah, I still love talking about myself like that.
I have a feeling that's not your thing. So, we could also get all kinds of academic here and talk about study after study after study of what the improvement academically of the students by involving themselves with arts, with music. I mean, there isn't any question. You know it better than I. It's huge, right? Oh,
and you're a parent, Keith, of a musician and have been, and I know you're a huge supporter of your son. It's not just scientific. I mean, I tell the kids a lot that the arts are athletic, they're mathematic, they're scientific, they're emotional, they're mental. There's not anything in it that you can't equate to another area of study. It just enhances all of that. And it's an expression, it's an interpretation. Sometimes when you don't have words for anything else, that's what speaks for you. So it's huge. And we have to always keep fighting for it in our schools because people will push that button first thing to take away if they think they need to get rid of something.
Yeah, that's true. You see it. I'm going to stay away from that word COVID. I instinctively was going to go right at it for something. I'm staying out.
Hey, it's 2020.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It does happen. You see, well, and I understand why people don't. They're not. If you're not versed in the arts, if you're not versed in choral or instrumental, you're not. You have what you have to work with when you're making decisions. So. Not faulting anybody for sure, but yeah, that is the thing that gets whacked pretty quick sometimes, unfortunately. Yeah. But then again, I think the people who are teaching the arts also have are way resilient. It seems.
Yeah, you got to have a little tough skin for sure. It's worth it.
It is. Let me, if I could, let me show what you guys have recently done. That one photo I showed you.
Yeah.
Let me do that real quick and pull that up. You can explain a little bit of that. There was another pic in there. I can't find it now. I'm getting mad at myself for it. Let's see here.
It's hiding.
It was that Alex guy. It was a really cool shot of you two.
That Oh, yeah.
It's a good photo. I'm not going to find it.
Yeah.
I got that though. So why don't you explain to us what this is?
Oh, this is a beautiful picture of the performance of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. We were invited by Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center to collaborate with not only them, but Lake Nona High School. We were selected to be, we were selected to be the two choirs that would come along this amazing group of youth and be part of the whole production. So we were notified, might have been late September, early October. We had very little time to get this ready. We had to come up with 30 kids for it to be COVID safe. I know I said the word, but and so it was just volunteer. I just put it out to my whole program. Anybody that wants this experience, this is what's happening. This is how we're doing it. So we rehearsed on our own for about 4 weeks. Went into tech week, literally 3 days of tech and one performance only of the show. And as you can tell, down in the bottom, those are our choir kids, and up on the mezzanines are the rest of us. The cast is on the stage, and we stayed that socially distant the entire production. Wow. But it was a huge honor. I mean, that stage, I did not realize, I should have, I guess, known that is a Broadway accredited stage. Right. So, because of that, not everything and not just anyone can be put in there and on there. So these kids and I, we may never get to do that again. I may never get to stand on that third floor and conduct, and they may never get to sing again. And it was worth every bit of it. And our school stepped up and helped us and got us transportation. Dr. Phillips was so gracious to us. It was just insane. And as a result, little side note, they're going to open up the production of Ragtime on December 9th, and they award scholarships to kids who maybe need assistance to be a part of this. 4 of our students were awarded scholarships, and as of last night, 3 of them were offered leads, and the other one offered a supporting role in Ragtime, which starts rehearsals tomorrow. So it opened doors for more of our kids to, I mean, again, like, when are you going to get to do that kind of stuff? It's crazy. So it was a blast. Total adrenaline rush.
Aren't you glad that that amazing, such a high level of arts excellence that exists, right in Orlando? They don't have it's not like a shut door, or the windows aren't locked. They want the young people to experience it. They understand that that's not going on forever. We need to have the next generation being burning for arts. I mean, that's awesome, right?
Yeah, 100%. And even beyond that, Dr. Phillips is nestled in a mecca of high-end high schools that have money, right, and they have support, and they have some things afforded to them that we don't have necessarily in Osceola County. So to be able to put Osceola on the map like that and share the stage with Orange County and Dr. Phillips was huge. To me, it just shows how alive the arts can be and are, and Dr. Phillips that's one well-oiled machine, very,
no doubt,
very well run, very specific to their goals. And yeah, it was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, it is amazing. We love going there, and it's the acoustics are amazing. So I can't even imagine what it was when you were from the other side looking out. That must have been a gas, totally.
It was a rush. You have the conductor from Lake Nona and I are literally across from one another, hundreds of feet, trying to make it. I feel like it was a marching band. I felt like all of a sudden I became one of those, oh my gosh, the name just with me. And we're like looking at each other, making sure we're cutting off, and you can't, our acoustics, it was great, yes, but we couldn't really hear. So we had to go a lot on what we were seeing. But yeah, it kept it, you couldn't sleep through it. It kept you on your toes. It kept you busy. But it was great. I mean, it was like definitely one of the highlights of my career so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a plentiful career you have already. I loved hearing, I forget, it was the Central Florida Vocal Arts. What was that? Gosh, I'm gonna forget her name. Well, I put it out there. Anyway, the first time I was able to come to the school, you had 2 guests that were guest vocalists, really, and and you sang a bit of opera, correct?
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can pick up the names in a few minutes, but loved what you were doing because of the excellence. And what else hit me was I know you're friends with Alex Moore, obviously.
He's all right.
And, yeah, he's okay. And what I loved is you have a great synergy between you. How do you feel about that?
I adore him. He entered rather sacred territory when you replace people like the Cochrans, Nina and Randy Cochran, who we had really kind of boosted the theater program and took it to a different level. And Alex walked in as top notch as anybody could be. He knows who he is. He knows the 2 feet that he stands on and what he wants to do for art. And he calls himself my work husband, which I'll take. It works. We have really become close friends and companions in all of this. He's the reason I got to do Hunchback. He gets all the credit because he had some connections there. And when they presented it, he's like, yeah, he goes, I'm going to ask her. I'm sure she'll say yes. And I was like, I guess I got to say yes now. But he just had the faith in me that I could do my part, and he did his part. And he's brilliant at what he does. He's funny. He's this 6'9" mass of just awesome. And he pushes me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I hope I push him back a little bit.
Yeah, one of our guys, Cole Harvey, is a rather tall dude.
Yes.
And so he was interviewing Alex, and I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. And so, Cole is constantly having to have the camera or phone like at 45 to get the person. And in the middle of the interview, he said, I got to tell you, this is like the only interview I've done in years where the guy's taller than me.
Oh yeah, I watched that interview. I love Cole to death, and it was funny. Cole looked short for about 5 minutes.
That's right. That's
for sure.
I feel like it doesn't mean anything probably to anybody but me and you. But what was funny was Allstate, when we were both in Tampa.
Yes,
we just happened to be at the same hotel.
We were far away from everything on purpose. Like, what are the chances of us being in the same hotel?
Yeah. That was a great hang, though, right?
Yeah. We always stay out of the chaos. We just have always taken the kids to a place where it's just they can get back and unwind and relax, because it's crazy. And this year it's virtual, so it's a whole different thing. Right. So they're giving the kids the opportunity to watch things. So we'll see how that goes.
So let me all right. So I'll skip over COVID, but reference it in the same thing. So let's say this ends. All right. So COVID is behind us. We're going, yeah, that was a tough time. Very grateful that we got through it. Sorry for those who were impacted in so many different ways. Yeah. So what do you see? How do you not like overwhelmingly go nuts with how many events you'll do then? Because I know that everything is a tad bit challenging. So how do you see arts in schools when that's not an issue anymore?
Wow. I think we've heavily been altered this year. Like, we waited for so long when COVID first hit. For perspective, we had just done a concert, and we had just gone to MPA and gotten superior ratings. And I had choirs that were going to go to state. So we had this concert. We had a month to get ready for state, and COVID hit. And immediately I have, 2 choirs with seniors and freshmen that aren't going to get to go to state. And so as COVID first hit, we were just kind of hanging day by day, like, what's the next thing that's going to get canceled? Can we make this happen? Yeah. Then when we got to, we had summer break and everything, came back into school. I don't know that we even really thought about what we were going to schedule, because we just kept being told, nothing's happening. This is basic. And I know personally, I lived in some fear of that as a teacher. Like, what am I going to do that's going to keep the kids involved when we're not going to sing? It's choir. Like, what are you going to do? And it's not been easy, but we're learning. And now we're making strides. We're planning on doing recordings of all the choirs for the holidays, and then putting it together in a format and giving that out the holidays. And so, like a virtual concert, but not live. Right. And, we just started making the decision that we have to do something. We're going to respect all the rules, but we have to keep trying to move forward to some kind of normalcy. Right. So that being said, when everything comes back, I fear that there's going to be some caution and hesitation, but at the same time, I think we'll go running, to get to do all that again.
Yeah, I forgot that actually had happened to my son. So he would have had state. That just didn't happen because it was it was kind of the kaput at that point, right?
Oh, it was devastating. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think, when it rounds out, I think we're all going to be maybe a tad bit more grateful. Maybe I won't take things for granted, I guess.
I hope that's the biggest thing I try to say to the kids and stuff. It's like, we had some very simple things taken away from us, and we weren't allowed to do very simple things. And I just hope that we come back understanding how valuable those little things are, and don't take for granted what we get to do on a daily basis, so yeah, it's the most important lesson.
So what would you say to somebody who might be in, maybe this is a whacked out question, So what would you say to somebody, maybe parents they have kids that are 5 and 6, and they think the kids have some musical giftings, and sometimes in our world we push so hard and saying, if you're going to compete, we're going to have to compete internationally, and so it's all about academics. Stay straight in academics. What would you say to those parents to kind of encourage them to also, kind of came back to what you said, sometimes the arts are what makes a kid get up out of bed and say, I want to go today, instead of just all academics are awesome and they're imperative. But, what would you say to parents that are just trying to figure out what do they emphasize with their kids?
I can't stress enough that if a kid's expressed anything, open that door and let them see what it's like. It doesn't mean that it may be the end all, but it means you've given the kid the opportunity. I know some things are expensive. My grandmother raised me and put me in piano lessons at 4. And I know she gave up everything. She spent a ton of money on me following this path. But anytime people ask me, like, when should you start a lesson, or when, if you see this, I'm like, do it. What do you have to lose by trying? And I don't think a young child is incapable of starting. They comprehend, and they spend all their time on digital media. They can do more things than you and I can. So let them try and put it out there. I believe too that we have to be an advocate that the arts aren't for a certain type. Arts are for anybody. Right. I have football players in my choir, and they're amazing singers, amazing performers, and they're going to do great things. So you have to, just as a parent, you have to put aside what you think that they should want or not want, and listen to them and let them speak. And those things take their natural course. I think that's what I see sometimes. Parents, I don't want to sound negative, but sometimes they're afraid to support things right. like the arts. And, I just say, let them be open. If it's their hobby or if it's their career, it will be there with them forever.
It's also a huge lesson in accepting others, understanding others, working with others. It's like all in there, right? You can't. I mean, it almost doesn't go if you're not. Everything's inclusive. Everybody's the same on stage. Everybody's the same in the, on that floor when you're trying to make music happen or engage with each other. Everybody's the same. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that's one of the coolest things of all, for sure. So. Let me see, what was I going to ask you? I don't know what I was going to say. Probably should have a cup of coffee right now. It's gone. It's gone. I hope we're in the no judgment zone.
There's no judge here. No judge.
I don't know what I was going to say. So I guess, again, we could probably talk for 2 or 3 hours right now, but I know you don't have 2 or 3 hours. But, I really, really felt it was important to say congrats to you, because I think it's way cool. I'll say this to you, and you're probably smack me for saying it, but we know a lot of people, and I tell you, we get to see. I mean, in the school district, we are blessed to meet a ton of people, and it's really one of the coolest things we do. It really is, and so when we're invited to come and hear somebody doing something in our area, whether it be music or a dramatic scenario, it's always so cool, because you see the young people with just a fire in their eyes, and they're digging it. It might as well be pro. I mean, like, they're getting paid, they're showing up, because that's how serious they're taking it, right? Yeah.
And you've been such an advocate for us at St. Cloud and the whole county of Osceola. But, when you come and you've filmed the choir practicing, or you've come on that stage or watched us receive a donation, those kids are fired up. It's like Hollywood, they feel like it's a big deal, and your crew is always hype, ready to give them, energy and excitement. And it's one thing about St. Cloud is we've always said, we're all in this together. No one's above each other. We're all working for the same goal. And if you're the lead, or you're a supporting character, or you're the token bass, whatever it is, you're vital, you're necessary. And I mean, I have an ongoing joke, and I've had it for years, but now that Wawa came to town, I changed the location. I used to say Walmart, but I joke with the kids. I'm like, if I ever lose my job because they're like tired of me or whatever, I said, Wawa's going to hire me because I can make a good sandwich. I have a decent personality. Their managers make really good money. And
that's great, right?
It's kind of our funny joke. I'm like, if teaching ever got to the point where it was done with me, but I don't want to be done with teaching, and it's not easy. It's not I giggle at the people that talk about our vacation time and all of that, and that's so true, and not to diminish anything, but I watch teachers walk out with carts rolling home for hours of homework, and I'm just the arts teacher, but I spend hours outside of class time and rehearsals and driving, but we do that because we want to, not because we have to or we get paid for it, or because kids like yours and mine who thrive on that, they need it, and that's just what you do. And if people could learn that about teachers, that those good teachers out there are doing it because they believe in what they're doing and not for the paycheck. So
right. My son is actually of all the stuff, I don't use the word stuff, of all the things that he has thought about doing, he actually said, I'm going to direct connect to UCF. I'm going to go to Valencia a couple years, and I want to teach. So he's going to be an education major. Go figure.
Wow.
Cool, right? I think it's cool.
Yeah. For anybody to say that in 2020 is epic.
I think it's great. That could be. It's awesome. Another moment I can't. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, and this is the thing I was going to say before. So this is awesome.
It's because we're older.
I'm telling you. No, I am. Maybe you're not. I know you're not. So do you still hear something really, an awesome music piece, an awesome choral piece, and you get a buzz off it, say, man, I got to have my kids sing this. Do you still do that?
Every year.
Really?
Every year. When I'm choosing the MPA music, when I'm choosing that music to go in front of a judge, I always find one, I call it like the money piece, where it's like, the kids are going to get this. I feel as if I can hear them singing it. And usually it's the hardest piece to teach because they fight me like crazy. And I'm a mushy teacher. I don't hide myself expressionally or anything like that. And yeah, all the time. We had a piece last year that was for MPA that the composer and I are actually friends. He's a young American composer, and he wrote it in memory and honor of a young woman who had been killed in the Paris bombings, which has now been quite a few years ago, I guess now, at least 3 or 5. The piece is called Even When He Is Silent. And he wrote the piece in honor of her and the choir that she came from at her college. And so the first video that I ever found of it, the piece was handed to her college choir and the director. They sight read it and recorded it in an hour. And that's the first recording I ever heard. And I shared that with the kids. And it was transformational, but it was hard because I kind of try to make the kids connect somehow, and they don't always like getting in their feelings and connecting, but I knew if they could do that, they would be okay. And ironically, that particular choir didn't necessarily put the effort in that they needed to be really successful at MPA. So they were literally half a rating away from receiving a superior. And so that kept them from going to state. And when we did our concert afterwards, which is not normally how we do it, but it was just a scheduling thing. And the night of the concert, they sang it as if it was their last chance to ever sing it again. And it was amazing. And that's the moments that I live for. I dig those a lot, when you can kind of leave an audience where they don't know if they should applaud or sit there for a second. I'm like, that's when you've done something right, So it's, every year I try to find something. and pray to God that it doesn't flop in my face.
That's great. There's the motivation right there.
Yeah.
So how do you, I know we're getting to a 30-minute mark, which we don't have any limit really, but I will respect your time. So how do you, and this will be kind of toward the end, but so how do you, it must be really emotional to look back, or when you see some of the students and you see, they've gone through the journey and they may not go into anything that has music connected to it as a profession, or perhaps they do. But either way, they've been changed for the good if they're touching arts. You never hear the same, right? I mean, you never experience music the same, ever.
Never.
It must be cool, though, to see some of the past students that are going on and performing. It's got to be a huge buzz.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All the time. Just to think that they're taking it somewhere else and they're giving their gift to somebody else, and right. Someone else needing to hear that. There's nothing better. Nothing better. And it's, I joke and say, don't do drugs, do choir. Like, just, let that be your rush. Let that be your adrenaline. Let that be your fuel, whether it's dance or drama or creative writing, choir, band. Just let it fuel you, because it will be that contingent healer and motivator. I mean, we all don't live without music. Can you imagine watching a movie with no music? It would be kind of ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. We should try that. Not.
Should try it.
Oh, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm flipping the channel. I sure appreciate your everything you're saying. I was going to say something really. I know what I was going to say. The second thing I was going to say was,
I got all night.
Well, I don't think you nor Alex are would be looked upon as shy people generally, and I'm thinking that's that maybe that's an influence from that very shy principal that you have over there, Mr. Banter.
I love that man so much. Yeah, I say this everywhere I go, and I mean it with all my heart. There is no better high school in Osceola County than St. Cloud High, hands down. I've never worked for somebody more passionate about his kids. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes often and owns them, but the level of respect he has for his faculty, his administration, the kids is top notch. And when we had to come back to school, even during COVID school, that's what I called it. I've never seen anyone more prepared as a staff, the whole administration, all of the APs, the deans. There's nothing they didn't think of. And if they didn't think of it, they owned up to it and tried to make it better. And my colleagues in the county that I love and adore have had struggles. And I haven't had those, because Nate is always investing in what's best for kids. And it's the best school to teach at.
Yeah, he's a way cool guy. We started that featured teacher thing, and I won't go on and on, but it was, so St. Cloud High School was our first school to go to, and we really didn't know what it was going to be. And we were talking to Dr. Pace and Charlie Draper, like, how should we do this? Should we like go in quiet and kind of get the cameras out and kind of sneak in there? And so Mr. Fancher kind of got in front of us and started screaming. And it was awesome. So now 5 years later, that's what we do. We still scream as we run in, because he started doing that.
I'm not surprised. He's small.
So, I'll close it out like this. So again, super appreciate you and what you guys do, and you do it for the kids. You're very student centered. There's no question. And it's really noticeable. Very cool. And so who knows how this is going to look, certainly in this year coming. But hopefully everything will just clear up quickly, and the education awards, the dinner, hopefully that will be, I know you get to do the promenade across the stage deal. So
apparently so.
Yeah, well, so hopefully things clear up, and the only thing we got to do is have to bring a small bottle of hand sanitizer with us or something. Who knows?
Yes, and my big binder with all of my achievements.
That's right. Hand them over as you cross the stage. Oh my gosh, that's special. That would be something right there, wouldn't it? Here you go. Here's my folder.
Well,
I really appreciate everything that you do, and So we appreciate you taking some time to speak to us tonight very much.
Oh, Keith, same to you. I so value what you do for Osceola County, and I love everything you post and promote. You are a bright spot in a very cloudy day. So we're thankful for you guys so much.
No, we're glad we win in the end. We get to see all that you guys are doing. So I appreciate you very much. Cool.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations again, and so thanks for spending time.
All right, take care.
All right, again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with the St. Cloud High School Teacher of the Year, Tammie Combs. Got her head exploded right in the middle of that. Appreciate you. Together, we're making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Have a good night.